Hey, I'm Lisa Singer, and this is Brand Insider BTS, where I get to pull back the curtain on some of the most influential women marketers today. And with me is Nicole Schlegel, and she is the VP of Global Digital Marketing at Universal Pictures. Hey, Nicole, welcome.
Hi, Lisa. So nice to meet you. I'm really excited to chat today.
Yeah, I am too. And look, wait, move your head this way. I'm curious, what's the picture behind you?
That is me. That is, oh my gosh, my wedding photo. I tilt
Oh
it
my
with
God,
my husband. We got married on the beach
that's,
in Santa Monica. Yeah.
I
I was
mean, just
like cutting him
very
out of the.
good. So very nice. Okay, so
Yeah,
just like to check out my background.
of course.
So anyway, I want to get into, as I always say, I do my snooping. And I noticed on your LinkedIn About section, you wrote that it's your passion to continually push the boundaries of what's possible in the world of entertainment marketing, which is obviously what you do at work. Well, I want to ask you, what does it mean to you to push the boundaries, not at work, but just in life in general?
Oh wow. I think for me, so I would look back to things I wanted to do after I had my daughter and maybe pushing myself physically, I think is how I would push boundaries. And so funny, when I was in my 20s, my husband was really into snowboarding. He tried to get me to do it. I was like not really into it. And now he's like a scuba dive master. I'm not into that, but I have with my daughter taken up snowboarding in my 40s, which so that is it is so hard and it's so fun. And she's into skiing, I'm into snowboarding, and it is painful. And it's just something I wanted to prove to myself that I could do. And so it's like physically pushing myself and pushing boundaries and going back to dance class. I used to take dance constantly from when I was in high school through college and after college. And I'm like, you know what? I want to go do dance classes again. And so trying those. And I mean, I think I pulled my Achilles last time. Like, it's a lot, but I feel so good afterwards. And then, get in the hot tub and then it's a lot better. But I think it's physically pushing myself.
As we get older, we need a little bit more hot tub time.
Exactly, exactly.
Past it. So I'm curious in terms of the snowboarding. Were you a skier before that, or?
No, no, not at all. Not at all. I think I tried it once when I was 10 and I hated it. And then my husband is so outdoorsy. And so just trying to do things he likes, we're so opposite. I'm like, let's go to a movie. He's like, let's go camping. So, trying to meet him in the middle where I can. It's just funny though, because now that I'm into snowboarding, he's now into scuba diving. So it's like,
To sync up a little bit, but
exactly.
your daughter is getting kind of both worlds, that the physical and then also can go to the movies, of course. So you need.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm looking at your career, and what strikes me, well, one, so you started as a talent agent, and then you worked in publicity for I think a couple of places, but until then you were hired as a temp at Universal Pictures in the publicity department. Okay, now 18 years later, you are VP of Global Marketing. Well, that's amazing. I mean, that's like a Hollywood movie. They should make a movie. Like, I want to ask you from when you were first starting, when you were first graduating college, what you obviously went towards publicity, so you saw that a little bit, but what did you see for yourself? And then talk about the path to getting to where you are.
Right. So I mean, I started in the mailroom at a talent agency. And so I grew up out here in LA, went away to college. I always knew I was going to come back and wanted to work in entertainment. And I thought I wanted to be a producer. And
Okay.
then so when I was at the talent agency, I worked for two literary agents who repped producers and directors and writers. And I saw it took so long for projects to come together. I had no idea it took that long. It can take years, sometimes decades. And so um, I it's funny, like I actually had never thought about marketing. And one of our writer clients went and got a real job because he wasn't selling scripts. We were both 23 at the time, at Sony in marketing, actually, in digital marketing specifically. And he was like, hey, there's a publicity opening over here. He's like, I think you actually might like marketing. I know you don't want to be an agent really. And I was like, well, I've seen Entourage. I think I know what a publicist does. Like I was so out of the loop. But yeah, and so I kind of tried marketing and I was at Sony just for a few months and then I went into personal publicity and worked for a publicist, and we worked with a lot of like A-list celebs, which was really cool and so grueling. It was like, 7 days a week. It just doesn't stop. And I just really liked working on marketing campaigns with our clients, and I wanted to try it from the studio side again. And so got to Universal, and the only job was a temp role, but it was in publicity, and I got to use my writing skills, work with press, and I love, love, love movies so much. And so it kind of just all fell together, and I learned a lot and did that for 5.5 years and moved over to digital. And so I've been there for 18 years, which is crazy. It went by so quickly. Like I know what's great is I feel like I'm learning every day still, even though I've been there for a very long time.
Well, what I love is too, and what's unique is the fact is you don't necessarily see, never mind in the entertainment industry, but in marketing either, that someone stays in the same position, especially who's achieved your level for that long. You know, sometimes usually you kind of have to go to another place to then get to another level, and you
Right.
rise through the ranks, see whatever up to talk about, because that's a challenge, I think, and that there's a skill to that. Like someone starting out usually thinks, okay, I have to go from one to the next to the next. But if you like a place and you can stay there, how were you able to maneuver it and to have people see you with, you know, the what you wanted to become and then work your way up that way?
No, that's a good question. I think I was always asking questions. I am always, even in school, I was always like, why? Like math class. Well, why do you use that method? Why? And so that's how I just continued to learn like I do now. I'm like, why did we make that decision? Why is the creative going in this direction? And so I'm so curious. And I was always talking to other departments, always asking what people are doing and figure out how it ties into our campaigns and how I can help amplify it in some way or be an ally and help out. And so I think that's what helped a lot was I think talking to different people in different departments in marketing and just getting to know everybody and just being so passionate. And I was constantly suggesting ideas for things too. Like if we had a junket coming up or, an interview opportunity, like, oh, maybe like we could do it at a training gym with this actress because she does her own stunts, kind of, just always trying to suggest creative ideas and chiming in and not, I listen a lot too, but I wasn't too afraid to chime in when I thought it was appropriate. And so I think that just helped. And people saw I guess, my eagerness and my willingness to want to really learn and move up and just be helpful. And so I think that's helped a lot.
Well, and I think that just stepping up, as you said, I mean, that's such great advice. And I think as women, especially, it's not, sometimes voicing things is difficult. It's not always easy. You kind of want to sit back and watch and, but which there's times for that. I'm not saying there aren't, but you were also listening and watching and then stepping up when you had something to say and
Right.
that was noticed. What do you say to that person, that young girl starting out that says, I'm afraid to raise my hand. I'm afraid to sort of speak out. Like, how do you get that first sign of courage?
Oh God, oh man. I think well, hopefully you're being brought into rooms where there's opportunities to speak up and people are extending their hand and so are an extra seat at the table. And I think it's um oh my gosh, just having that courage or having someone in the room who you're seated next to that you know is encouraging you. Talking with someone beforehand too, and let them know, like, I really want to talk, but that room's intimidating. What should I do? And maybe that person can throw to you if they know that you have something to say about a specific topic. So I think having a mentor or a sponsor or a colleague that really can support you, that's so helpful as well. But it is, these rooms they're intimidating. We have meetings where there's like a huge long conference room table, and sometimes it's the same kind of five people chiming in. And what's great is our leaders are constantly asking the rest. He's like, anyone else, like, please chime in. No idea is too small. Like, we want to hear from you. Like, it's so valuable to have people who've been there as long as me or longer, and like even all the way down to the pages and the interns who are just there for a few months. Their thoughts are so valuable to our business. And so I think what's great is our leaders encourage speaking up as well.
Well, that's no, that's so nice. You don't always see that in an organization. So it's really nice to have that kind of atmosphere.
Right.
So, and I think it's a great point. Find your allies where you, or the mentors, or how you want to, and be able to move forward.
Yeah.
What do people get wrong about you when they first meet you?
I think they're surprised when they see me and they hear my name is Schlegel. Like that's the first thing. Because my maiden name was Wilson. My husband's Irish and German, so that's always the first. I think too, um, I would say I maybe look younger than I actually am, and so that sometimes might get mistaken for not having as much experience, or not maybe people assuming I'm not as knowledgeable about something as well. And so there's a little bit of that overcome sometimes if I'm in a new room with people that don't know me. But and then also just on the personal side, I love sports. I think people assume, I don't know why, but are surprised to hear that. So I'm like super into sports.
Well, maybe they've seen you snowboarding, so you know.
I do not post those videos at all. I can barely take them. I'm like too concentrated on not falling. So
I love that. I also could see, I mean, and you can correct me, because you're so vibrant and fun, like you're just happy and as you said, you look younger. Like that would be another reason people might say, oh, she's not really serious, or she's not, like that could be it could be disarming in a sense. It might be actually beneficial to you to sort of, you know, sort of get in there and slide in there. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about, kind of.
exactly. Surprise them, yes.
All right, well,
Pleasantly surprised.
yeah.
Pleasantly surprise them.
Oh, definitely. Well, no, I mean, to be honest, knowing your title, and now this is the first we're meeting, and I'm surprised that you're so charming and so like just fun-loving kind of thing. And it's not to say that people can't be that at certain levels, but you do think, oh, it's going to be serious, or it's going to be, so anyway, just throwing in my little 2 cents.
Oh,
But
thank you.
say congratulations. You were invited to become a member of the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. I mean, that's huge. That's like very prestigious. It's usually for Oscar nominees or Oscar winners, of course, but they do have other criteria. And I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to speak against the Oscars because I want to say exactly what they look for. They look for people who demonstrate a unique distinction or an outstanding contribution to the industry. And obviously I mean, I'm assuming you don't have an Oscar on your mantle somewhere. So,
No, I wish. I don't know what it would be for, but maybe my back in my dream of being a producer. Maybe that's what it was.
well, so that's amazing that, you were chosen for that. So I want to ask you, when you say unique distinction, what do you think is unique about Nicole? Like when people look back, people you work with, what do you want them or think that they'll remember about you?
I mean, I would hope they remember, and something that I've worked on in my career and just in general, like having kind of like a executive like a presence in the room, being a really good communicator. I think for me too, whenever we have an intern or a current student and they ask about hard versus soft skills, and
Mhm.
the hard skills being like I can code or I'm a graphic, and then for me it is the communication and how you make someone feel once you meet them and when you part from each other. And I think people remember so much how you make them feel and how you communicate with them. And so I lean into those. I tell the students, like, do not ignore those soft skills. They are so important. And so I hope people maybe think I'm poised when I'm in meetings. And that kind. I tell that to my daughter, like, be kind. It's so important. And then I'm passionate. Again, like I was saying, I'm a huge avid moviegoer. I hope people remember how much passion and love I have for the theatrical business as well. And that I hope they think I know what I'm talking about. So yeah, those
Yeah.
are a few things.
Well, one, I'm sure they do, given, well, the Oscars, there you go. They obviously see that. But also, as I said sort of earlier, I get what you're talking about. You are very engaging. You make people feel comfortable, or you've made me feel comfortable. So I'm assuming that carries out with your employees, your team and who you're working with. So yeah, I could totally see that. So, very cool. All right. I want to play a little game now.
Okay.
All right, so obviously Universal Pictures has many movies in their, vault. I want to go back to the movies that were popular you've been there 18 years, so
Yeah.
each year of your different roles, I'm going to pick a movie, say the tagline, and then I have a question for you there, okay?
Okay.
All right, so in 2007, that's when you were hired as the temp in the publicity.
Yes.
Okay, so Evan Almighty was one of Universal's bigger films that year, and their tagline is, or was, God's greatest gift to mankind is a sense of humor. So I want to ask you, what is your greatest gift to mankind? Or what do you think is, not yours, but what do you think is the greatest gift to mankind?
I mean, I would hope empathy because I try to lead with empathy. I try to take into account what people are bringing and how they bring their authentic selves to any situation, whether it's work or a party or an event or something where you're communicating with other people. And so I really hope everybody can be, empathetic and kind of put yourself in their shoes, or at least not judge at first. And maybe, if someone is coming and they're maybe not in the greatest mood, or they're something's annoying them, or and it's kind of like taking a step back, like, oh, okay, they might be having something else going on, and let me give them some grace and give them room to either share that or at least maybe chat with them about it later. And so I just empathy, I think, is a gift that I hope more people and would strive to have.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we can use more of that today for sure. So I completely agree with you. Okay, so in 2013, that's when you moved on to the digital marketing coordinator position. And Universal's big film that year, or one of them, Fast and Furious #6. Their tagline was All roads lead to this. So I want to ask you, was there a defining moment in your career path or your life that you went one direction instead of the other? And you really credit to that, or you see that that's what ultimately brought you to where you are today?
Yeah, I would think that that career pivot. So I'd been doing publicity 2.5 years prior to coming to Universal. And then so when I got to Universal, there was 5.5 more years of publicity and working with press. Writing production notes and literally messengering VHS tapes to Jay Leno for her clips. And I loved that job. I loved that I worked on every title re-release. I could have done that job in my sleep because I feel like I knew it like the back of my hand. And when I got approached to move over to the digital department, they had started off very small and they were expanding. And the two heads of the department at the time asked me if I was interested in interviewing and moving over. And I had like Facebook. I was very resistant to Instagram for the longest time. And so it was really daunting. But a big part of me wants to just have that broad marketing knowledge. And I saw that where digital was starting to head and how important it was becoming. And so I took a huge pivot and it almost felt like starting over. I moved over to be a coordinator in the digital team, and it was like going to school again. Like I knew nothing about even how I'm like, how do you upload a video to YouTube, and how do you build a website, and how do you give creative feedback on banners and social content and Snapchat lenses? Like all of those things were so new to me. And again, it was like going to school, but I'm so glad I did that because now I just feel like I've, again, just the publicity knowledge and now the digital knowledge, and literally everything's digital now. That's how we reach the majority of our audiences. And so I think that was a big road I took.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like you said, digital, how can you can't do anything now without having some sort of digital knowledge at this point,
Right.
especially in your industry and your career. Okay, 2021, we become VP of Global Digital Marketing. Okay, so Sing 2 was one of the popular movies at that time, and their tagline was, Where will your dreams take you? So just what was one of your most memorable dreams when you were a kid?
So I grew up with two parents who are actors and was told don't do that. So my twin brother and I were raised like watching our parents on set, but being told like please do something else and do maybe be a producer or writer or like work behind the scenes. And so I think a dream I always wanted to be in the entertainment business, which so it's awesome that I've you know can been able to make that come to life. And my mom, when she first got an acting contract, she grew up in New York and then came out to LA. Her first contract was with Universal in 1972, and so that was like pretty cool that that's where I have been and ended up. And so she loves that. um, and so I think And you know, again, at one point I thought I wanted to be a pediatrician or I wanted to be like Tyra Banks and be a supermodel. So those dreams kind of went out the window. But the entertainment one was kind of always that umbrella. Like it was always something I wanted to pursue.
All right, very cool. I have to, for one, I have a twin brother as well. So we're
Oh my
both,
God.
what are you? Are you older, younger?
He's 2 minutes older than me.
I'm
So
3 minutes older than my brother. Oh no, 3 minutes. I'm 3 minutes older than my brother.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
So
Okay.
fun. We're lucky. I think having that's so special, that relationship. And we used to try to literally try to kill each other, like holding pillow over your head when we were, and now we are so close. He actually moved to Germany like 10 years ago and we were WhatsApping for like 45 minutes this morning. We tried to chat all day. He'll leave me like funny messages almost every day. So
No,
yeah.
I love that. We were very protective growing up. Like there was the closeness there, and there was definitely something. And we're still close, but it's not. We're very different. So we're
Yeah.
close. We still always see each other, and but I like a lot of times it's like, okay, we're gonna fight a little. So there's a little bit of that too, but
Right.
it's all love there. So it is a special bond. So I definitely agree with that. Okay, so well, and also I need to follow up, which you can tell me to move on. Who are your parents? Do I know them? Do we know them?
Oh my gosh. So my dad passed when we were 11, but his name was Teddy Wilson and he did a ton of TV. He was a character called Sweet Daddy on Good Times. He and my mom met on the set of a show called That's My Mama
Uh-huh.
in 70 something. And my mom, her name's Joan Pringle. She was, in a soap on NBC called Generations. She was in a show called The White Shadow that is hugely popular among guys who like sports. So, because it's Ken Howard's show. Um, yeah, and she's like she's like 80 now, and so she's semi retired. The last thing she did was she was in Lost City. She had a smaller role in the Sandra Bullock film a few years ago, which was cool because I love Channing Tatum and I love Sandra Bullock, so I was very jealous that she got to be in that. But yeah, and she's just so artistic, constantly writes every day. She's still so creative, and she's still writing like a one-woman show. She just spends her day being
Um,
artsy. Yeah,
I'm sorry you lost your dad so young, but that's just, I think it's great that you had that surrounding you, and so obviously you can see how it influenced you, but you just went to the business side of things as opposed,
exactly.
but I'm sure the creative sneaks out here and there.
We try, especially on social media, like cutting, editing, storytelling. So
For
yeah,
sure. Okay,
yeah.
so there's a couple of movies that I just thought they were kind of cute taglines, so I'm just going to throw them in there before we'll go. We'll just do one or two more. Okay, so one is in The Trolls, another film. Find your happy place. Where is your happy place?
Oh, movie theater. 100%. That and somewhere really beautiful. When my brother and I were younger, from age, I would say 5 to about 7, we moved to Antigua. So we lived in the Caribbean for a few years, and my mom's whole side of the family is all Jamaican. And so just always been like very um beach and island life. And so anywhere where I can be and it's just beautiful, that's also my happy place. But movie theater, it's so close to I'm an AMC A-lister. Like I will go, I try to go at least once a week if I can. So
Popcorn?
popcorn, Sour Patch, that's the number one.
I'm
And
the
then popcorn.
okay. You got to answer. First of all, butter and salt.
Yes.
Do
Yes,
you,
yes, yes.
do you fill it halfway and then put some butter and salt, and then the other?
No, I get the cardboard box that I say is for my daughter, but it's really so I can mix it and then I'll like give my daughter half of it. But yeah.
No, I'm like, okay, just fill it half, please. I'm like everyone's nightmare, and I run to the. So anyway, I just you had to know that for you can't be in the movie without the butter popcorn. Okay, last one. Puss in Boots: Last Wish. Okay, so one of the film's quotes, so this isn't a tagline, is he's known across the land by many names: the Stabby Tabby, El Macho Gato. Am I saying that right? The Leche Whisperer. And then it ends with Puss saying, I was Puss in Boots. So he has all these nicknames. Do you have any nicknames? Did
Oh
well,
yeah, everybody growing up, even now, I went by Nikki. I still actually prefer that, and so sometimes I'll introduce myself as Nikki, but I'll do it in front of coworkers, and then I'm like, it's Nicole, but it's actually Nikki. And they're like, "Do you know your name?" And so, because I'm so used to my husband, my whole family, all of my college friends, all they all call me Nikki, and so, or Nick or Nickster, and so, but for once I get to know someone, I'm like, I actually prefer Nikki. So, yeah.
Cool. So can I start calling you Nixter?
Oh, yeah, she can. Yeah, my mom and my aunt call me Nickster. Yeah.
So if you could rewind and relive just one day of your life, what day would that be?
Ooh. I mean, having my daughter, I can't not say that. I would say that was pretty amazing, to see like a new life come into this world. But and getting my wedding on the beach was beautiful. And then work-wise, I have to say I worked on the Oppenheimer campaign. And so I got to watch the Oscars at our company had a party and we had a watching party. And so watching Oppenheimer win like 7 Oscars after we'd worked on this campaign for at least, I think it was like a 2 year thing if you count from like the day I read the script to the Oscars. And so
Mhm.
that was in all my 18 years, I'd never worked on a Best Picture campaign, or movie that won Best Picture, I could say. And so that was like career highlight was watching that and just all of everybody's hard work, the filmmakers, the entire crew, and then marketing Oppenheimer was
Um,
like a behemoth because you think it's like it's Christopher Nolan who's incredible, but it's also about a scientist who, obviously created one of the probably the most important things that happened in the world, which is, nuclear weapon. But it's also a lot of guys talking in rooms, and some of it's in black and white. And so we're like, oh gosh, and this isn't his Dark Knight. This is like a drama, a biopic. And so just that challenge that we all took on and to see it end with with a bunch of Oscar wins, that was really cool.
well deserved. It was such a great movie. I'm curious, as one of the marketers, how did you feel about the whole was it Oppen Barbie or
Or
uh,
Barbenheimer.
I'm totally saying it the wrong way. Barbenheimer. Like, is that like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. You love it because anytime you get the name out there like that, or like, what were your thoughts?
I think anytime fans can market your movie for you and take it on like that is such a blessing when you have something that hits the cultural zeitgeist like that. And for us, our film Oppenheimer, it's such a serious subject and it's very obviously it's controversial. It's, you know, it affected hundreds of thousands of people. And so we had to be so careful with being serious and really leaning into the prestige of the film and the filmmakers and the incredible actors and all that. But we weren't a let's make a meme kind of campaign. And so I saved all of those memes because I thought some of them were hilarious. And I just watched kind of from afar and we didn't engage. But again, like it was so cool to be a part of something that people still refer to. Like every summer the people are like, "Oh, what's the next Barbenheimer?" And so I'm like, I worked on half of that. So, yeah.
People talking about it all the time. So it really built in your own, advertising in a lot of
Right.
ways, to help with that. And it maybe lighten it up a little, which is not an easy movie to lighten up.
Right. And it's a summer movie too. Like that's, people if you think in general, you're like, "Oh, summer blockbuster, it's something I'm going to go have fun." And it's I wouldn't use fun to describe that film, but it's like beautifully shot and the acting is incredible. And it's just, I saw it in IMAX like 5 times and it is just, you're just jaws open with how wonderful that film is. So, yeah.
Mhm. Very cool. Okay, so aside from being a pro snowboarder, is there something that people may be surprised to know about you? Maybe you have, it could be inconsequential, maybe not, but it's sort of a hidden secret or hidden talent that you might have.
Oh man, I don't really have the hidden talent. I guess I would go back to the love of sports. I was a college cheerleader. Not a lot of people know that unless it's college basketball season. And then I went to Duke and I am
Oh,
insane Duke fan. So once you know me, people are like, oh yeah, like that's not surprising. But I think, I don't know if there's like an assumption about college cheerleaders, but at Duke, like I went back a few years for homecoming. We did a cheerleading reunion and I met the squad at the time, and all of those beautifully smart women, they're all literally like bio or engineers or like just way smarter than me. Like they're just like, oh no, I want to be a bioengineer when I graduate. I was like, oh my God. Like, so they're like just smart, but they're also like athletic and really into cheering on like not just football and basketball, but like pretty much all the sports that Duke has to offer. So yeah, that was a really great experience. I love that. It was probably one of my favorite 4 years of my life was being at Duke and being on
Nice
the
to,
court.
and oh my gosh, you can't not be a basketball fan, I'm assuming, and go to Duke.
Exactly. It's like a religion
So,
there.
all right, I have to ask, but not the movies. This is going to be at home. What is your guilty pleasure? Like when you just want to, and again, we'll stay away from movies because we already know that's there, but maybe you're, eating a full thing of Haagen-Dazs or whatever, like, or whatever that may be. What is your guilty pleasure?
So I went to Target earlier. I got the king size Sour Patch,
Oh my
like the size of my face. So that I have such a sweet tooth for sour candy and chocolate, and I can binge the I can binge watch reality television like nobody's business. I don't watch all the shows clearly, but there are some like Love Island that last season. I just restarted watching America's Next Top Model. I don't know why that took me back to when I was like 23, but I have such a like love for reality TV, and I think it's almost comforting in a way because there aren't like crazy stakes and you can kind of have it on in the background and while you're working or whatever. So
It's just, I mean, I've never been into reality, maybe because when I was in news, I didn't necessarily want to cover it. So I sort of backed away from it. But no, my brother, oh my gosh, not my twin, my younger, he like America's Top Model. So when I've been visiting, I watch it and I get into it. It's not that I don't see the appeal, but I just, so I completely understand that. It's just something that's enjoyable, but you have to have your Sour Patch. Is it that do you just eat them alone or do you mix them like in ice cream or like
I eat them so, I mean, my to the point where my tongue just hurts.
I said,
It's like,
like
stop eating that. But yeah, no, I'll just eat them plain with like my husband loves LaCroix, like seltzer, just lime. So I'll like have that with like a seltzer water and just love it.
daughter eat them with you?
She'll eat them occasionally, but they're like, oh my God, mom, you just ate that whole bag. So,
No, get your own.
exactly.
Good to know. Well, Nicole, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this.
Oh, I love chatting with you. Thank you so much for having me on. This was great.
I really appreciate it. And thank you for watching. And as I always say, if you know another fabulous marketer like Nicole and you want me to pull the curtain back, just let me know and I will do my best. So again, Nicole, thank you.
Thank you.